All right, boom. Yo, welcome back to the Lum LaL show. I am your host, Bilal Ray.
Yo, Satin Dewey, no Ratatouille. It's your boy Pharaoh Lum. What's poppin'? We in the building.
Satin Dewey, no Ratatouille.
We in the building.
And we're here for a special edition of the Lum LaL show because we are actually on site
Yes.
while they're setting up for Black Therapy 101.
Some sounds you hear are the sounds of creativity in the background.
Absolutely. So if you're
Sounds
tapping
good.
in, if you already tapped in, and you already seen our podcast featuring Sydney Davis, where she was already talking about her event that was up and coming at that time called
Yes.
Black Therapy 101.
Yes.
Well, it is today, and we are in the building, and we are just really just bringing the vibes, but also we want to discuss a little bit about mental health before this event kicks off, and just kind of be in the creation energy of people putting this event together. It's good to get around event planning, event creation. I love that type of stuff. I feel like that's where highly effective teams come through, and it just feels good to be in that energy. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
So if you are, well, this is already going to be out by the time you see this, but if you missed out, then just know that
You missed
you
out,
missed
man.
something special, because I can already, based on the lineup, based on the atmosphere, I already know that this is going to be special.
And follow Artist Talk Mental Health. Catch the next one.
Artist Talk Mental Health, follow
Catch the
Lum
next
LaL
one.
show,
Follow Lum
like
LaL
and
show.
subscribe. Let's get into it.
I mean,
So,
1028 Studio, 1028 Podcast.
1028.
1028, you know what I'm saying? My man, no child.
Pew,
Pew, pew, pew, pew. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
1028. You know what I mean? You
So,
feel me?
I wanted to open up the conversation today. We're talking about, well, number one, I didn't know that Men's Mental Health Week, and it's crazy that it's just a week, was in June.
Yeah.
We in July. It was in the beginning of June.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I only
I
heard
hadn't
because
heard
of
no
podcasts
mention
and-
of it. I hadn't seen it on socials.
I heard in passing and in jokes that it was,
I didn't even get that.
yeah. That's what
And
I
I'm
heard.
wondering, how bad do things have to get for for it to be important? Maybe it's men's fault because we don't make it important.
It is. It is our fault. Everything's our fault. I'm just being real. When all the laws, when the world is ran by men and all the laws are made by men, like at what point do we take like accountability for that?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
It ain't like, you know what I mean? Right now, I say it all the time. Every day there's a group of older white gentlemen in Washington that argue over women's bodies and what to do with them.
Every day. And that's a crazy argument.
Every day. And
That's a sick
when
argument.
people ask me like, well, how do you feel about? I'm like, yo, I feel like I shouldn't be given an opinion. Who? Like, I'm not supposed to be in the discussion about rights about this. I feel like my opinion does not matter. Like, so I feel like mental health. You know what I mean? That's not a high priority of ours. Like, I feel like it's the key and it's the linchpin for a lot of the issues we have. When you look at like homelessness, when you look at like drug and you know what I'm saying, like drug abuse and everything in the country, you look at violence. When you look at all that, mental health always comes rattling back. But it's the thing that we like to try to tread around lightly. You know what I mean? We don't really want to talk about the part that mental health has to play in like opioid crisis or like school shootings and stuff like that. But I would argue it plays a huge part in it. Why we're
Yeah,
so scared
absolutely.
to talk about it and address
Undoubtedly.
it, as a country.
I think that the
You know what
reason
I
why I don't think that the country necessarily is afraid to talk about it. I think that what happens is you don't talk about the consequences of your intentional actions unless you want people to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, when you do something intentionally, you know where it's going to go. You know the backlash. You know
Yeah.
the repercussions. You know
Oh,
the
yeah.
collateral damage. You have an understanding of just how far and wide the impact is going to scope when it comes to a group of people or demographic.
Yeah.
But you withhold that conversation from being public if you don't want to be held accountable. And I think that
Yeah.
the system it can't be held accountable.
Yeah.
Because if it's held accountable, what we would have would cease to be America. We would need something else.
Yeah.
We would need a new school system, a new financial system.
Yeah.
We would need different work systems, because the system that we're in doesn't really produce progress.
Yeah,
it just
it doesn't.
produces I don't know, what it produces at this point.
I
So,
guess they
like,
were trying to
yeah.
call it stopgap measures, but I don't think any of the stopgap measures are even stopping any of the things or slowing them down or like what a stopgap measure
Right.
would do. So yeah, I don't really know what it is. It's
But I
kinda
mean, think about it like a school bully. Like, if you've ever been in a situation where you've seen a school bully or even been a school bully, when was the last time you had a conversation with someone who you impacted in a negative way? Do you even want to have that conversation?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't. I mean, I would hope that you want to, but I'm just bringing to your attention how rare it is and how much we consider it to be strange to speak about the repercussions the negative repercussions that people other than yourself have
Yeah.
to face.
Oh yeah, bro. No one likes accountability. You know, some of us will face it because we want to get better, but no one really likes it. I was having a conversation with my coworker today, and she's like, "I've been talking to this dude for like 4 months, and he ain't telling me he had a kid." And I was like,
What?
"She been talking to a dude for 4 months.
And he ain't say what?
He didn't tell her that he had a kid."
4 months is crazy.
Yeah. And he's like, "Yeah." He said he just brought it up in passing, like, "Yeah, you know, I got." He said he was just like, "Yeah, you know, I got a kid and shit for ain't no." And she was like, "Oh yeah, you got a kid? How old is he?" He like 4. Like 4 and shit. He just kept asking him whatever, and she was like, "Yeah." So I didn't really want to pry, but after a while, I was starting. I'm like, he was trying to withhold information. I'm like, yeah, because he knows somewhere in that conversation about him having a kid and being over your crib every day, there's an accountability conversation there.
There is an accountability.
And he's not trying to cross that bridge.
He's at her crib every day.
Every day.
And
And so
he got
if you've had a
kid?
kid, you know what I mean, and she knows she's been with you on a weekly basis for 4 months. She know you ain't seen your kid. There's gonna be an accountability situation, or you're gonna have to do some splaining. And when it comes to doing some splaining, people run from that. That's a symptom of mental health too. You know, that's why a lot of our problems don't get addressed because we're gonna have to be accountable. You know what I mean, for a certain type of behavior. But I don't know. I'm working in substance abuse now. I just came from working in mental health, and most of my clients are schizophrenic, you know what I mean, bipolar disorder, like heavy mental health issues, almost non-functional mental health issues. But every day I preached accountability with the level of accountability that I found out that they could handle. Everybody can handle some level of accountability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It may not be the same level of accountability, and you have to take people's conditions and the things they go into consideration. But I tell people all the time, I worked with mostly adults that mentally, you know, the doctors would say that one of my clients was 45. He was about 7 mentally. If I had to describe him from working with him every day. And even he could remember kind of accountability and face up to stuff after a while, you know what I mean, dealing with everything he had to deal with. So I feel like it's just something that everybody kind of has to deal with, being accountable for, like, even conversations with therapists. I feel like when I talk to a therapist, I feel like one of the hardest parts of that conversation is going to be me being accountable for the things that I already know. It's probably going to be me saying a bunch of stuff that I already knew was true.
Yeah.
But more so coming to a place of accountability with it and being able to face it head on for you know what I mean? So
when we talk about mental health and how certain systems in the country produce unfavorable mental health situations for people, I don't know that the conversation is really about accountability as much as it's about we need a new system. Because, for example, you hold people accountable, I think, for things that they've done that is a result of something else that they were trying to do. Not to say that it was a complete accident, but to say that you were doing something and in the midst of doing something, you crushed something else.
yeah.
And I think that you can't for example, if someone is at war and they're killing people and they're killing people and they're doing all this type of wild shit, and we say like we gotta hold them accountable, like I think that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
Because hold them accountable, in my mind, refers to bringing someone's attention to something like, look how much chaos you caused. But it's like, yo, that's what the intent was.
Yeah.
That's what the purpose.
So sometimes holding people
was,
accountable
you know
is
what I mean?
holding you responsible for what you've done.
Right. And so like when we think about like the school system, for example, the school system does not produce favorable outcomes for our students. We know that.
Yeah.
And some of those unfavorable outcomes are worsening, if not new, mental health issues. Right?
Yeah.
So that being said, do we hold our education, right? Who do we even hold accountable?
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's schools, there's districts, there's teachers, there's principals, there's superintendents, there's executives in state, local, and federal that have to do with education bills and education funding. Like, whose name do you even write down on your accountability ballot? Like, there is no. That's the thing about this situation. Like, it's convoluted. Like, you don't even know who to hold accountable.
Yeah, you don't.
It's
People's
like you getting smacked in a room full of people and it's dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you turn around and there's all these people looking at you, and it's like, who did it?
Who did it? And everybody's like, I don't know.
Everyone, no one, someone.
Yeah, someone.
Like,
them,
I don't
they.
know.
I don't know. I feel the same way. Who do you hold accountable for stuff like that as far as the system? And as far as the stuff that we go through? I feel like the only type of accountability we can have is self-accountability with taking care of our own mental health. You know what I mean? I feel like more than anything, mental health starts in the household, and a lot of people's mental health issues and ongoing problems that they have are due to how they were brought up. You know what I mean? Abuse in the household, neglect in the household. Every once in a while, you'll get them people that are straight psychos. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
like
Who's
insane.
going to go off the rails regardless of how, and maybe pull a school shooting, and they were just meant to do that. But a lot of times that violence and that stuff comes from being taught. I'm a firm believer that violence, two things that have to be taught. There's a lot of things I feel like you can learn on the fly. I feel like kids somehow learn kindness on the fly. That sounds crazy to me, but I feel like we're innate given the ability to at least to be kind, even if we don't learn it. I feel like hate and violence has to be taught and practiced. You know what I mean? It has to be, even whether it's not taught direct, whether it's taught or practiced directly, or taught and practiced on someone, and they learn from that. So, and a lot of the times when you have that hate and that violence being practiced in the home with kids, you have these long, ongoing mental health issues and stuff like that. So a lot of times that accountability they don't want to hand out, it might be to their parents. You know, that might be the conversation. I don't really want to dime my mom out, or dime my dad out, or dime whoever did whatever they did to me out back in the day. You know what I mean? Because that accountability maybe go to somebody they love, and they maybe have to, you know, try to pivot or make it easier for them to understand, or make it so to make us try to make them feel better about something.
And you know what? I don't think that violence is just taught. I hear what you're saying. I want to use a different word.
Yeah.
I think that violence is induced
I see
rather
what
than
you're
taught.
saying.
And reason why I say induced is because a kid whose home is not functional can resort to violence even if the home isn't violent.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean young too, like 4 or 5, you'll start hitting and biting.
Yeah.
But they haven't really learned that behavior anywhere. It's what is induced in them from receiving a lack of, you know, nurturing, caring, attention, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So I think that like we all have the ability to kind of be violent, but it's like your environment encourages you to be in a space of like panic or like survival, and then that's when people really get violent. Because you think like people is violent, but like why somebody that like feels like they ain't got nothing else to, that they can't do nothing else in a situation but get violent. Those are the people that can get real violent.
Yeah, and most people ain't really violent. They just
Yeah,
like
I
to say,
mean,
especially if people talk about they violent.
There's like,
I don't be believing it. Like, I done had girls tell me, "Oh my God, I swear to God, if somebody come up and say something to you, I'm a da 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 da." Man, I remember some time I was chilling with some girl one time. This girl came up to me. I wasn't even paying attention. I'm looking at the girl I'm chilling with. She took the blunt out my hand, hit the blunt one time, and was like, "I like your outfit." Looked at the girl I was talking to, looked her up and down, and put the blunt back in my hand, and then walked away. Then the girl walked away. She gonna look at me and cuss me out. I'm like, I was just standing here, and not that I need
no,
someone.
you can't cuss me out.
Don't cuss me out.
Because if the same thing happened to you and it was a dude, I'm on his heels. I'm on his heels. So you can't get mad at me.
As soon as he would have reached, I would have smacked that. Well, I would have
You
smacked
mad that you
blunt
got
out his-
disrespected by somebody in front of me, and it was your job to shut that down.
Yeah, and I don't need you to be like a fucking gangster, but you can't be having nobody try you in front of me. That's what I don't like. Like, don't let nobody try you, because I ain't about to let nobody try me in front of you.
Exactly.
That's how I see it.
What?
Oh, you gonna hop on camera?
All right. So yeah, and then that whole conversation about accountability brings to mind like pride. So I've been like wrestling with what pride means and how it shows up, and like spiritually, but also just like in everyday life, like what is pride? And I came to the conclusion that pride is like arsenic.
Yeah.
There's a little trace amount of it in our bodies naturally.
Yeah.
But any too much of that, which is a small amount, will kill you. I think that pride is okay to have in a moment. I think that it's a momentary thing and that you need to allow yourself to have it in the moment. But when you start making decisions out of pride, you're starting to make decisions that only benefit your ego, right? So the decisions that you make out of pride are only to protect your ego, protect the things that have built your ego, and are not really for the benefit of yourself or your family or any other people. It's just like pure, like ego-driven decision making.
So you don't think it was like sick when LL Cool J told J-Lo, "Pride is what you had, baby girl, I'm what you have"?
That was him. That was his pride of like being that dude. I'm not dude. Like,
that was kind of crazy when he said that. I couldn't believe that
pride
shit.
is what you had. I am what you. I ain't gonna lie.
It's been 20 years.
I feel like
still think it's crazy.
LL got away with some of the strangest lines in history.
Hey, yo, you ever see LL on WWE?
No.
Yo, there was a couple nights he's in WWE, and for some reason, every time the
Actually, I seen
camera
it.
turned on him, he just kept doing
but
this.
I don't remember that.
He just kept every time the camera was on him, the camera would be like, "We have LL Cool J tonight."
You know what's sick about that? He practiced that.
Yo, he did.
That's what's sick about
He
it.
was ready.
He
He's a sick
practiced
boy,
that.
man.
He showed up prepared,
He's a
ready to
sick
do
boy.
that. And he
Goat.
just had that in the
Goat,
tuck.
straight goat with the sick boy.
Who was the guy just telling him you're on?
Do it.
Yeah.
Go for it. Yo, he's crazy, bro. Like,
That's
definitely-
weird.
That's definitely.
But
strange.
L is a strange guy though. Like,
100%.
I just think that he does a good job of being in the background. Like he don't force himself on us, which I think is smart, especially for people in the public eye.
Yeah,
Because when
facts.
you force yourself on people, it feels like you're down bad and you just need a check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what it feels like to me.
One old head I never think about being down bad is LL Cool J. Like in my
No,
life.
he
You always
got
think
too much.
about
He
him
got
being-
too much things that have been like classics. I mean, like to me, one of my not even one of my favorite. I think my still favorite shark movie of all time is Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah.
It's better than Jaws. I don't care what nobody say. The new Megalodon movies.
Yeah.
It was cool, but like it wasn't Deep Blue Sea though.
Yeah.
It wasn't Deep Blue Sea. You know what I mean? And then for him to survive,
Yeah.
fighting a shark.
Yo, the soundtrack.
It's like, bro, you are goated,
Yo,
bro.
he had a soundtrack to that. There was a
are
song-
goated.
I'm trying to think.
Deepest, bluest, my head is like a shark's fin.
Yo.
Deepest, bluest, my head is like a shark's fin. Like, what is happening?
My head is like
bro?
a shark's fin.
My head is like a shark's fin.
Deepest,
Like, he
bluest.
really got some crazy lines. Like,
My head is like a
when you
shark's
really
fin.
think
It's
about
crazy.
it, like, that. Word. And, man, so, like, I think that but I also wrestle with that question because I'm like, people like Harriet Tubman, for example, right? I don't know why I jumped to Harriet Tubman, but like what she did was.
Where them 20s at, by the way?
What
Speaking
them-
of the government, Harriet Tubman, y'all gonna stop fucking playing?
I heard Donald Trump killed that his first year in office.
Man, we need them. Listen,
That's
we
what
need
I
them-
heard.
We need them Harrys.
That's what I heard.
We need them Harrys.
I don't know what happened to him.
I need to go to the strip club with some Harrys.
Going to
I'm
the
sure-
strip club with some Harriets is
I'm sure
crazy.
that's what my
bro.
ancestors pictured, but
Going to the strip club with Harriets is wild.
Harrys.
I got them Harriets.
Straight in the strip club with straight Harrys. They played
Yo,
it.
them Harriets is crazy. Them Tubmans,
Yeah.
yikes.
Straight tubs.
That's different. That is different.
Rap won't be the same after that.
Oh, it won't be
No.
the same, bro.
And you know what? It's going
No
to
one's
get.
gonna-
It's going
we're-
to get worse.
We're all such niggas. Ain't
gonna
nobody.
get
We're
worse.
all. I know I'm trading. I'm not accepting anything else. Like when I go to the bank, and I'm gonna throw a fit if they don't have none left. If I go to the bank when them Tubmans come out and they don't got no fucking Tubmans, nigga, I'm knocking every brochure off the counter.
Every brochure is.
What do you
crazy.
mean you don't got no Tubmans left?
Give me them blue Harriets.
I need them blue Harriets, right?
Yikes.
Listen. Yeah.
But you know, like, well, when I brought up Harriet, it was about like pride, right? So like, what she did was possible because of her pride of how she felt about herself and her people.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing,
Yeah.
right? But on the flip side, the people who are keeping her enslaved were doing it out of their pride.
Yeah. Facts.
They're proud of their financial situation and their land and having pride of being this type of person with this type of power in the southern
Yeah.
states. Like,
I feel like pride can be a good or a bad thing depending on what you have pride in.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
The great escape artist J. Cole once said, "Pride is the devil." And I think that nigga
Not
got
the
a
great
hold
escape
on
artist.
me.
Pride
The great escape artist. Man, he is better than Houdini. I'm telling you. That man, J. Cole, is David Copperfield, man.
I always just
The way he
picture it
did
as
that
someone
shit.
hopping out a window with both their fists balled up, looking around, and then jumping right back in the window. Like literally leaping a story up back into the window. Like I ain't never seen a nigga jump back into a window after he
Like,
jumped
shoo,
out.
jump
That
back in
shit
the
crazy.
crib. And then in the crib, get back on the game. Start playing,
Yeah.
start
Swear
playing the
to
game
God.
again.
Swear
Like,
to
nigga,
God.
no, hell no.
Mental health definitely. I feel like there's a lot of. You heard about Ryan Garcia?
What about him? Oh, you said you retiring?
Yeah, and he's a member of the Ku Klux Klan, and he's gonna
Oh.
kill any nigger that he sees on the street.
Did he
And,
say that?
Yeah,
He said that?
yeah. And then he apologized. Mental health. So I wanted to see what you guys think about people.
He's a
putting-
heroin addict.
He's on something.
I said that hella loud too. He's a heroin addict.
It's cool.
No,
Heroin
no,
addicts
no, no.
anonymous
But,
turning
no,
around,
no, no, no.
leaving
But
the
for real,
joint out.
mental health is real. But I also think that he's on drugs, and being on drugs is usually a coping mechanism for mental health, but it don't help. it makes shit worse.
Yeah, getting punched in your head probably don't help your mental health all the time either.
Yeah, but there's a lot of
And
people
being in
that
the
there's a lot
spotlight.
of people that got punched in the head that ain't joined the KKK after.
Yeah, he's crazy.
So I'm not blaming it
I've
on
been
the boxing.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people get trolled and toe the line, and I have to say that Conor McGregor done toed some lines, boy. He ain't never
Man,
got close
I
to
think that man is
Ever.
is on opioids heavy, and I think
He
that
is. He's on more shit than that.
He's
He-
on opioids and fame
and
okay?
steroids because he beat
That
the
fame is the
dog
drug.
shit out of Devin Haney. And I'm sorry, Devin Haney. No one cares about no rematch. We seen him beat you up. I understand like he was on steroids and shit, but like
Yeah.
a rematch is not going to take my eyes away from me from seeing you get beat up.
Well, I
You might as well
mean,
just move on.
I don't know though
It
because
happened.
think about Ali. Like Ali's most famous fight was a rematch,
No, but the thing is,
or his second most.
We're not
famous.
living by the.
I can't even rank it. I'll say it's top five.
The problem is, if
Rematch.
you're living by the Ali standard with boxing and stuff, then a loss will be okay. These dudes are on the Floyd standard where they don't want to lose their O. That O is everything to them. And when they feel like that O goes, it's over. That's why we don't get as many good fights. These dudes be scared to lose their O. Back in the day, dudes would risk their O for the big fight and not care. They're warriors. I lost my fight. I'm coming back with another one. But nowadays, these dudes, they lose their O. They feel like their whole career's done. You don't even see dudes if you take a bet. And I ain't seen Errol Spence outside since that Terrence Crawford fight. And everybody, Terrence Crawford is a
And that's what's unrealistic about boxing these days is that
Yeah, bro.
you feel like you
It's
can
okay
never
to take
take
a
a
loss.
loss.
You're
First of all,
fighting.
who's the most famous boxer in the world right now?
right now.
Still say Mike Tyson.
It's still Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Mike
It's
Tyson.
still Mike Tyson, bro.
Yeah. And to be honest, what y'all gotta realize is y'all can't run from fights. Here's the biggest misconception about Floyd that he ran for fights his whole career. Floyd has like 20 knockouts. Floyd spent his whole early career putting people down. And then when
Yeah.
he got old and his hands started breaking from putting people down and he couldn't have the same, then he's like, all right, I gotta figure out how to win a different way. Y'all dudes don't got the cachet to start doing that. No one's gonna care about y'all if y'all sleepwalk through 50 fights. Because I can look back to Floyd in Berto and Floyd in I'm saying Shane Mosley, Floyd and other people that he put down and be like, oh, okay, this is why this dude does that. So like end of the day, you know what I mean? I just feel like you dudes can't really walk around with that same cachet just to try to avoid you know what I'm saying, avoid fights. And I feel like that pressure comes with, it's funny to say, that pressure comes with like a big toe on people's mental health too.
Yeah.
Because like it's
But
a
you know,
loss, bro.
I think some of the best fighters, some of the most entertaining fighters took L's. One of the most electrifying rivalries in the last like 2 decades was Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward.
Yeah.
And they had L's, bro. They took
Yeah.
L's from each other.
Yeah.
They took L's. I think they took L's outside of their rivalry, but like it was electrifying.
Yeah.
It was electrifying because we got to see two people who were fighting for something greater than status. Like it was in there. It was, it's like you hear a rapper rap, and it's for status versus somebody that's really getting off.
Yeah.
Like it was like you could tell the difference. So I mean, there is a lot of, I would say, a lot of highlight. I don't know if highlight's the right word, but I would say designer boxing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of designer boxing.
Yeah, there is.
And designer boxing is like you said, I can't lose my O. I gotta be in a Philly shell.
Yeah.
I gotta you know what I mean? I gotta look flashy. I gotta
Yeah.
do this. I gotta do that.
Yeah. And to me,
And-
that don't change. If your box
you know-
office, your O, you using your O, don't care. Listen, Tank get knocked out next fight, boy. That boy's box office. He gonna put the next person down. I've seen him put enough people down. A L is not gonna make no difference to me. And it's not. He fights everybody that comes his way. Everybody and anybody. You want it, you or you, cool. Because at this point in time, you gotta respect the fact that he's the ASAT on every fight. There's not too much to gain from fighting any of these dudes. So like you gotta respect that fact. You know what I mean? He ain't really worried about it. He's a warrior. So like,
Wow.
yeah.
Pride is
Ryan Garcia, I
about-
pray for your mental health though, brother. You know what I mean? I know there's something up with you. You know
to,
what I mean?
to say, first of all, you're not white, bro.
Yeah, you're
You
not right.
can't join the KKK.
They won't take
want
you.
you dead too.
They will not take you.
They don't like your kind.
Yeah.
They don't like your kind. Only time they want Mexican is when they go out for a burrito. Only thing they like about Spanish is tacos.
That's it. And women. They won't say it out loud.
Yeah, for sure.
Donald Sterling, you feel me? You gonna keep him a little senorita.
Type shit.
Gonna keep him a little senorita.
But I think that's the interesting thing about it is where like the pride of people's career has influenced them to do outlandish shit.
Yeah.
And whether it's designer boxing, whether it's Grant Garcia joining the KKK, whether it's, you know, the Drake and Kendrick thing, like whatever it is, there's always a point in which someone's pride influences them to do something, to hold on to it, to save face.
Yeah.
And then that is the turning point. That's when we all lose respect. That's when we all lose interest. That's when they lose the most amount of money.
Yeah.
Like when who's the dude that told LL he would snatch the mic off his arm? I'll always forget his name.
Cannabis.
When Cannabis stepped back into battle rap, it was the most disgusting display of lyrical mismatch I've ever encountered. And the reason why is because he was trying to do something to prove a point rather than being in the space of having to go after
Did
it.
he show up with a notebook?
Yes, and he still fumbled.
Showing up with a notebook and fumbling is like getting a football drilled to your hands and actually fumbling.
Yeah, and that's what happened.
I be mad. That's my sister. She watch Battle Rap now. As soon as somebody stutter, I get up and leave the room. She be like, no, wait. I said, oh, no, listen. You got to ask my peoples. I came up in a time where I didn't know I was battling until a half hour before I was battling. And I got ready. And I ain't stumbled. So I ain't about to have these dudes who get 2-3 months ahead of time and study their opponent, get there with a written verse and stumble. I would never in my life. I wish I still had footage of my battle so I didn't have to talk shit and only a couple niggas knew. But never in my life. You give me 3 months, I'll take 4 of y'all niggas in a night.
Yeah, that's love. That's
If
love.
you give me 3 months, bring your fucking crew. 3 months? You got me fucked up.
Yikes.
You got me fucked up.
Yikes.
You know, none of y'all jump out the fucking window unless you got that shit. I don't really want to kill no little fish for no fucking reason just to prove a point. I am nicer than y'all niggas. But if you got some followers,
he
holla
said,
at me.
speaking about pride, nigga, check this out. Nigga.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
check this
keeping it
out.
100. Yeah, y'all ain't worth that body.
Man, but listen, this has been a special edition of the Lum LaL show.
Absolutely.
We
Party
just
is
wanted
getting
to really
started.
bring the vibes while we were setting up, while they were setting up for
Yeah.
the Black Therapy 101.
For
Shout
sure,
out
for
to
sure.
Sydney Davis. Shout out to Artist Talk Mental Health. Follow them on all platforms at Artist Talk Mental Health. Make sure you reach out to us and leave comments so we know what you want to see more of. And you can find us at the Lum LaL Show on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. In the meantime, take care of your mental health, man.
Yep. It's easy.
We'll holler at you. Peace.
Oh yeah, hard bottoms on. Come on, man.
Oh, yeah, you can. Yeah.
Don't play with me.
You got
Don't play
the,
with me. You
why we just show the bottom of our shoes?
know what I'm saying? Hard bottoms. Hard bottoms. That's why. Don't play with me. I mean
Hard
business
bottoms.
today. I mean business today.
Not even
I didn't come to play. I didn't come to play. Being hippie. Shout out my young boy.
Yeah.
Shout out my young boy. You feel me?
Have a good one, y'all. Peace.
Peace easy.